Hi everyone, I hope I'm on streaming now. I don't know what's going on with this thing. I think I'm live, but I'm not quite sure about it. But anyway, I wanted, hi everyone. I think I'm on okay streaming, but I'm not sure. I see the picture there. The way to dig yourself out of an economic problem is to figure out what your goose is, or find one and feed that goose. So the stream today is individuals don't win, teams do. Build business assets. So in the last stream I had said I'm going to start chapter 4 of the Financial Matrix book, The Financial Matrix and How to Escape It by Warren Woodward. And so chapter 4 is going to be on Sam Walton and a little bit about how he built his business assets. So I'm just going to continue reading this very interesting book on how to escape the financial matrix. All right, so building a business asset is the fastest way to break free from the time for money trap. In this chapter, I am going to share what I learned from Sam Walton, the founder of Wal-Mart, about building a business asset. The two keys are, number 1, developing people, and number 2, developing turnkey systems. Indeed, when you combine Buffett's financial principles with Walmart's business principles, you are developing a plan to break out of the financial matrix. When built properly, a business asset produces income through relationships and systems instead of the number of hours or tasks performed. Unfortunately, few have learned these principles because they are not taught in any traditional educational program. As a matter of fact, only people who have built a business asset are qualified to teach others how to do the same. For this reason, it's time to learn how to build a business asset from one of the most successful business people of the 20th century, and the one I learned from, Sam Walton. Sam Walton, Building Leaders and Turnkey Business Systems. Today, Walmart is a huge conglomerate of stores across the world, but few remember Sam Walton's David versus Goliath historical origins. In 1952, 4 new entrants joined the discount store market, and 3 of them were backed by billion-dollar entities. Kmart, supported by the KRESGE Crescent fortune, Woolco, supported by Woolworth Money, and Target, supported by Dayton Hudson. The 4th new entrant, Walmart, barely had enough money to launch its first store, and the founder himself raised 95% of the money personally. This appeared to be a rigged match, yet somehow Walton won anyway. How was that possible? How did Sam Walton, despite competing in a business model that required massive front-end funding with relative pennies compared to his competitors' dollars, how did he defeat his billionaire foes so convincingly? Whether you admire the Walmart of today or not is not important, but what is vitally important is to understand how Walton built his business asset in such a manner that it walked over much bigger competitors. To that end, I have read practically everything I could get my hands on about Walton and Walmart to determine what made his business assets so successful. Accordingly, I identified 2 things that he did better than anyone else, as stated above. Build leaders and build turnkey business systems. In reality, every business person must build people and systems, but Walton did both of them better than anyone else. Developing a leadership culture. Sam Walton believed that a successful business must consistently find and build people. He invested significant amount of time finding the right people, setting high standards for them, and serving them to help everyone, owners, associates, and customers. Serving them to help everyone win. Walton emphasized the importance of leadership when he said, I needed somebody to run my new store and I didn't have much money, so I did something I would do for the rest for the rest of my run in the retail business without any shame or embarrassment whatsoever. Nose around other people's stores searching for good talent. So that's what he did. Talent, however, without teamwork can lead to disaster, so Walton encouraged new leaders. Submerge your own ambitions and help whoever you can in the company. Work together as a team. To build a leadership culture of this caliber, the top leader must focus his or her efforts on serving others. Once Walton had the right people on the bus and in the right seats, he stressed the importance of communication by saying, communicate, communicate, communicate. We do it in so many ways, from the Saturday morning meeting to the very simple phone calls to our satellite system. The necessity for good communication in a big company like this is so vital it can't be overstated. Moreover, although he used technology to gather data and communicate his message, he never allowed high tech to replace the people's need for high touch. Indeed, Walton emphasized a computer is not and will never be a substitute for getting out into your stores and learning what's going on. In other words, a computer can tell you down to the dime what you've sold, but it can never tell you how much you could have sold. This was the difference between the managers at his billion-dollar competitors and the leader Walton was. A manager attempts to have high tech do what only high touch can do. Wait a minute now. A manager attempts to have high tech do what only high touch can do, namely, inspire the human heart to achieve something bigger than itself. Sorry about that. I didn't quite catch what I was reading there. Finally, Walton understood that in order to win consistently in business, the customer must be satisfied. He stated, "Everything we've done since we started Wal-Mart has been devoted to this idea that the customer is our boss. We have never doubted our philosophy that the customer comes ahead of everything else." With the customer satisfied, Walton was then in a position to satisfy his associates who worked with him by developing people and systems. He believed in win-win compensation arrangements to inspire his people to consistently raise the bar on themselves. He wrote, "The more you share profits with your associates, whether it's in salaries or incentives or bonuses or stock discounts, the more profit will accrue to the company." Why? Because the way management treats the associates is exactly how the associates will then treat the customers. Walton created a leadership culture by finding, building, and leading people who bought into his vision of serving his customers. He built a world-class leadership culture that continued to perform impressively after his death. However, what made Wal-Mart capable of defeating Goliath-sized competitors was his marrying of the best leadership culture to the best turnkey business operating system. Turnkey business operations. Impressively, Walton implemented a turnkey business operation that produced superior results as much by predictable systems as with superior people. Indeed, study any billionaire business model and you will find a turnkey business system producing repeatable results for anyone who leverages the system. The more predictable the business system, the more predictable the business results. In essence, successful businesses eliminate chaos by creating predictable processes that lead to successful results. Author Michael Gerber explains, "Once a franchisee learns the system, he is given the key to his own business, thus the name turnkey operation. The franchisee is licensed the right to use the system, learns how to run it, and then turns the key. The business does the rest. And the franchisee loves it. Because of the franchisor has designed the business well, every problem has been thought through. All that's left for the franchisee to do is learn how to manage the system." And I just want to make an aside to that as well. When I worked at the bank in the contact center, all of their contact centers were set up and run exactly the same way. And it worked well. I mean, they weren't the nicest environments to work in, but they bring in huge profits for the banking system or the banks themselves just because the systems are so fine-tuned. So when you have a really well-oiled machine working for you, um, yeah, you can make a lot of money, and it usually is successful. All these turnkey businesses here in Canada, we have Tim Hortons, which is an extremely successful franchise, and it's successful. All of those franchise fast food restaurants, they make money hand over fist just because they've got systems in place and they don't vary them uh, no matter where they're at. So Sam Walton separated himself from the crowd by not just building a business, but by building a business system that produced results even when he was sleeping. Abe Marks, the first president of National Mass Retailers Institute, NMRI Trade Association, described Walton's business philosophy. He knew that he was already in what the trade calls an absentee ownership situation. That just means you're putting your stores out where you, as management, aren't. If he wanted to grow, he had to learn to control it. So to service these stores, you've got to have timely information. How much merchandise is in the store? What is it? What's selling and what's not? What is to be ordered, marked down, and replaced? The information age has further allowed turnkey operations to blossom because one can study data from each store on a real-time basis. Marx again explained why this was crucial for Walton. He was really 10 years away in 1966 from the computer world coming, but he was preparing himself, and this is an important point. Without the computer, Sam Walton could not have done what he'd done. He could not have built a retailing empire the size of what he's built the way he built it. He's done a lot of other things right too, but he could not have done it without the computer. It would have been impossible. Walton studied the data from each store to ensure the targets he set were being hit. In effect, he inspected what he expected. Walton describes his process. That's why I come in every Saturday morning, usually around 2 or 3 a.m., and go through all the weekly numbers. I steal a march on everybody else for the Saturday morning meeting. I can go through those sheets and look at a store, and even though I haven't been there in a while, I can remind myself of something about it. The manager maybe, and then I can remember later that they are doing this much business this week and that their wage cost is such and such. I do this with each store every Saturday morning. It usually takes about 3 hours, but when I'm done, I have as good a feel for what's going on in the company as anybody here, maybe better on some days. All of this pinpoints one of Walton's key business principles. Build a business system that can work anywhere, whether the owner is present or not. Billionaire businesses build systems that work without the owner's long-term involvement. For me personally, this was an entirely different way of looking at business and life. For up to that point, I had always focused on how hard I could work, rather than how good a system I could develop. Interestingly, I had been formally trained as a systems engineer, but I had never thought to apply the concept to my personal financial life. Today, the internet has leveled the business playing field. Anybody with an entrepreneurial spirit can start a business, building people and a turnkey business system from home. Moreover, people can track their progress by studying real-time data from their home computer. Billionaires built leaders to orchestrate duplicable systems to accomplish work. In contrast, the majority of people do not build themselves or systems. Thus, they are the system that is worked. Thus, they are the system that is worked. Indeed, Walton's leadership culture and turnkey business systems were so effective that the business didn't miss a beat after his death. This was possible because he created a business asset that included a top-notch leadership team and a top-notch system. These are the essential minimums to succeed in building a business asset that outlasts your efforts. Walton's example inspired me to do the same, namely, build leaders and build systems that would work whether I was working that day or not. Now that I understood Buffett's and Walton's key principles of success, I was ready for the third key lesson. All right, and so that's the end of that chapter. And I hope that's kind of given you an idea of if you're in debt and you just can't find a way out. I'm going to give you some tools and steps as we progress on in these streams. This is basically all just laying the foundation, the groundwork for the mindset that you'll need going forward into building a plan and building your own system to not only get out of debt, but to set yourself up so that you can go forward and go on the offense of progressing to getting out of debt and building whatever your financial goal is. Basically to give your life a little more freedom away from the grabbler, so to speak. All right, so I'm going to end that one there. Tomorrow, or the next stream, which will probably be tomorrow, I'm going to do one every day, or maybe even two every day. I want to get through this book. I think there's about 4 more chapters, and I want to get through it quickly, and you can listen to them at your own speed, so I'm going to do a couple every day. I'm setting these all up on my YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel is called Affiliate with Callie. I think that's the one I'm loading these onto. Hold on just a sec. Let me check. Your channel. Let me go see what I named it. It's been so long since I've even looked at it. Oh, no, I just put it under my name. All right. It's under my name, Callie Canrinas. Let me just, it's, okay, I'm going to post a link for my channel, my YouTube channel. So I'm loading these all on there. I know on DLive here, they disappear after 4 or 5 or whatever. So I'm going to post the link to my YouTube channel as well. And then you can go there. If they disappear from DLive, you can go there and listen to any that you miss. All right, that's all for tonight. Peace out. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.